How do you celebrate New Year's Eve?
It's Sissy's soup.
Well, I've got company tonight, and we're going to celebrate together. No, it's not Mr. Garcia. Mr. Garcia and I are taking a break until his mother's dead. Remember Sammy, Sue Lynn's little boy? The one that kicked me in the shins? His mama's out with her girlfriend, and his grandmama is on a trip to Las Vegas. So little Sammy is over here, and we're going to celebrate together. When I was little, the three of us kids used to spend New Year's Eve at my grandma's house. She made it so special. She made popcorn, and we made paper hats, and we drink grape juice like it was champagne. We watched Times Square, and we got to stay up until the ball dropped. Bubba always dressed up, really dressed up. You know, he was always extra. Little Sammy brought a suit to wear tonight. Isn't that cute? When we'd get up on New Year's Day, Grandma would have fixed us a very special breakfast. Later on, she'd make black-eyed peas and collard greens and hog jows, and the entire family would come over and have lunch. Now that's for good luck. The tradition is that black-eyed peas are so you have coins in your pocket, and the collard greens are for currency. I don't know what the hog jows were supposed to be for, but it turned out to be not so lucky. Most everybody in our family has heart disease. So tonight, Sammy and I are going to celebrate the same way. I made some cookies, and we're going to make popcorn, and we're going to drink sparkling cider out of champagne flutes. And we'll watch Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper in Times Square. Sammy just loves them. Sammy is really turning out to be a great kid. He picked out my outfit. He said, "Aunt Sissy, I love to see you in blue. It goes with your skin tone." Imagine, isn't that cute? He's only 7. I don't know where he gets it. And he picked out all my jewelry too. Lots of sparkle. He's a different kid since Sue Lynn introduced him to the word no. He's very artistic, just like Bubba. Tomorrow, I'll fix black-eyed peas and collard green. We're going to skip the hog jows. Well, I've been thinking back over the years about different New Year's Eves. I remember in 2000 when everybody thought the world was going to come to an end and the internet was supposed to go crazy and shut down. And there was my first New Year's Eve with Mr. Johnson. It was so romantic. He bought me pink roses, and we went up on the roof to watch the fireworks. We lived in a 2-story apartment building just off Bayshore Boulevard in Tampa, and we had access to the roof. After the fireworks were over, we fell asleep cuddling up there. I miss him so much. And way back, when I was a senior in high school, there was a party at Mickey Michael's house that I will never forget. Now, Mickey Michaels was the cool kid in Riverview. He and his family moved here from the Midwest when he was 7 years old. His daddy was a drummer in a big band, and Mickey was a drummer too. He and Bubba were in a band together while they were in college. Bubba invited me to go to the party with him. In fact, he insisted I come. That wasn't like him. Years later, I found out that Mickey had a little crush on me, but he never said a word. Bubba might have been trying to pimp me out, for heaven's sakes. Now, the other band members were there too. The bass player passed out early, and Charlie, who played the lead guitar, was there with his wife, Jane. They were from New Jersey. Jane was extremely neurotic. She hated everybody and everything. She didn't drink or do drugs, which might have helped her. She ran Charlie down continuously. He just laughed it off, but it got old listening to it. Two lady friends of Bubba's came up from Sarasota, and they were at the party too. So it was a small party, 8 people, 1 down and 7 still standing, more or less. It was the early 70s, and the drinking age had changed to 18. I was still 17, but I didn't let that hold me back. Mom and Daddy would have killed Bubba if they'd known what we were doing over there. A lot of cannabis was being smoked, and we washed it down with pagan pink Ripple wine. Disgusting. Mickey's parents' house was right on the river, and they had a pontoon boat, a catamaran, with a cabin tied up at their dock. They were out of town. Mickey, whose consciousness was sufficiently altered, got the bright idea that we should take the boat out on the river. We wanted to be out on the water at midnight. So we all piled on the catamaran, and off we went. The river's fairly wide where Mickey lived then, and so we didn't go anywhere. We just went out into the river. Mickey and Bubba and I were up on the bow of the boat, and the other 4 were in the cabin. The Alafia River used to be full of phosphorus. The phosphate companies poisoned the river so many times, I don't think there's much left today. Phosphorus is a microscopic animal, and it lights up when it's disturbed. The river used to be so full of it that sometimes the water would glow. That night was one of those times. So Mickey and Bubba and I were goofing on the water, lighting up. Oh, I bet you don't know what goofing is. That's when you're stoned and you stare at things and giggle. We used to go to the airport or to the mall and goof on people. It's a hippie thing. So we're goofing on the water when Charlie comes out of the cabin. He sees the water glowing and he gets so excited he called for everybody to come out, and they all came running. Now let me say that Charlie and his wife were from New Jersey, like I said, and the 2 girls that came up from Sarasota were originally from Chicago, so they didn't know much about boats and rivers and so forth. And in the condition most of us were in, I doubt it would have mattered anyway. So they all came running out of the cabin, and they ran to the bow of the boat to see the glowing water. And when they did, the weight from 7 people made the boat tip down in front. And we started to take on water. I don't think anybody even noticed at first, but when it came up in our shoes, we got it. It was kind of chilly that night. Mickey panicked and started hollering for people to run back into the cabin. So we all ran into the cabin, but when we did, the boat tipped to the stern, and the water that we had taken on puddled in the back of the cabin. So everybody ran back to the bow, Mickey hollering the whole time and us running back and forth like a squirrel on a wire. It must have looked hysterical. The boat would go down in front, then down and back, then down in front and down and back, just like a seesaw. It's a miracle nobody drowned. Mickey finally got everybody calmed down, and the weight distributed evenly enough that the boat was stabilized. Bubba, who always had something smart to say, said, "Headline: 7 drug-crazed hippies drown in Alafia River on New Year's Eve." After that, we headed back to shore. Poor Mickey was shook. It's not good to sink your parents' boat right in front of their own dock. Well, we got back to the house and dried off. I don't remember ringing in the new year. I think we all just passed out on the floor. To this day, that catamaran is docked in front of Mickey's house on the river. It's over 50 years old. Truth be told, it's really difficult to sink a catamaran, but we might have done it. Who knows? Well, I've got to start popping corn. Sammy, honey, don't mess with that, please. That's a gift from a sheik. Sammy loves shiny things. Just like Bubba. Well, bad as I hate to, I have to say, it's good to quit talking to you. Now go on, do something else. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.